He's a top player, right in angle, and depends what you like in a midfield player. I love watching Luka Modric at Real Madrid, very silky, but if you want a guy that can absolutely do anything on a football pitch in terms of playing as a 4 or a 6, an 8 or a 10, Nangalang's the go-to man.
Waiting for the delivery. Fazio up from the back, and then Gigo in that posse of players who are still there. Manolas has made the break forward as well. They're going to have another opportunity to do it.
Always a strange one, I always think, when you take a short corner when you've got that much height in the box. You know, Edin Dzeko is at least 6'2", 6'3", the two centre-halves are even bigger at 6'4". Try and whip a delivery into that 6-yard box if you can, and trouble the back line and Donnarumma.
Kessié and De Rossi embroiled in conversation, and then they still have a good push and shove of each other. Are they going to get a cross in? No, they're not. What an absolute waste that was. 2 corners and not a ball in the box.
It's ridiculous, because a moving ball is a harder ball to hit than a dead ball, so just put the corner in the box.
Scored from a set piece. That's an offside flag, by the way. Manolas scored from a set piece on Wednesday at Karabakh.
I totally understand the concept of taking a short corner. You're trying to drag a couple of players out of their positions. But I think, especially early on, just put it inside that 6-yard box.
Playing an attacking trio today. Roma. Trying to get the better of Manolas, but he's a strong boy himself.
Should be a good battle, that. Kalinic and Manolas.
Nuno Perez, meanwhile, dispossessed by Andre Silva. Çalhanoğlu in support. Rodriguez is there as well. Here's Biglia. Romagnoli involved. Biglia once again. That's going to drift out disappointingly.
Kalinic was the target. Good defending from Manolas, good strength, and Kalinic just fobs him off.
Well, Andre Silva initially won the ball back and had the dexterity to get away from his marker.
He's been a great man, hasn't he, Bonucci? What centre-half, what steal as well from Juve.
He was very, very strongly linked with Manchester City. It seemed as though that was going to be his destination, but he's decided to stay in northern Italy. Not too big a trip between Turin and Milan. If you've ever travelled to northwest Italy, he goes, Bonucci. It's a terrific acquisition, and he's got the captain's armband as well here.
That's what I like about Bonucci as well. He apologises for the pass to Kalinic, but he doesn't mind playing a forward pass. He's not a centre-half that just keeps his possession stats up and gets tight. He's a very good man marker, but he is willing to take a chance or two with his forward passes.
Pulling into Kessié. Strong, protective midfield player. Savio Di Francesco, who had a really good few years in charge of Sassuolo. This is definitely the biggest job of his career. And as a consequence, he too will be under some sort of scrutiny. Started the season pretty well, but blip so far. It's quite a significant blip. And they were beaten at home by Inter in their first home game of the Serie A campaign.
Yeah, they must get a move on, Roma. Can't allow the gap to develop between themselves and Napoli. 9 points at the moment. They are in good form, won the last 3. The Serie A is going to be strong this season. Ownership. There's a huge
issue for the last couple of years, really. It was finally concluded back in April. Chinese ownership. And the target was simple: I'll back you, provided you get me UEFA Champions League football at the very least, and hopefully a tilt at the title. There's rumoured to be a clause in Montella's contract that if Champions League football is not achieved, bye-bye.
Yeah, harsh, isn't it? Yeah, but like the Milan fans there asking for a penalty on De Rossi. It wasn't. He had his hands behind his back.
Rossi and Bonucci have played together in the Italian squad for many, many years, and they've been embarking on many a conversation, although on the opposite side, Rossi, the man who's been upended, and it leads to the free kick for Roma, just nudged out of it by Kalinic.
Yeah, a little block off, wasn't it? Good spot from the referee.
That's been everything that we would hope for so far. Two sides positive, confident, taking the game to the other as best they can, but showing enormous respect at the same time.
And two Milan centre forwards just backing off, allowing Fazio and Manolas the ball at their feet.
Not the ball to judge from the defender. And he's happy, Manolas, that the flag has gone up. Kalinic has been penalised.
He shouldn't be offside there, Kalinic. He's looking right across the line, just a little bit lazy coming back in. Good spot from the linesman.
Well, let's hope that it's a game without controversy. Fixtures like this are so often settled, or at least pivotal moments seem to be hinging on a controversial call. It's a dreadful error from Donnarumma, and Strootman almost turned it in imaginatively. His mind made up for him by Donnarumma's poor clearance.
Yeah, with his technique, listen, it's not an easy chance. Well, Kevin Strootman took it on. It was poor from Donnarumma. It's not like him.
Touches it with his shin, doesn't he? Rather than the foot. It seems bizarre to be talking about a goalkeeper of just 18 years old when you think that he's now into his second season as first choice goalkeeper for AC Milan, and he's even challenging Gianluigi Buffon, albeit Buffon will decide when it's time to hang up the gloves for the Italian national team. But you do get the sense that Donnarumma is set for arguably perhaps even a career that will rival that of Buffon. And that's saying something.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before he takes the number one spot, Donnarumma, isn't it? For his national side.
Intriguingly, the AC Milan have even signed his older brother Antonio Donnarumma as the back.
coming over your shoulder, but Florenzi will think he should have at least hit the target with a bit more power.
A nice little drag back by Kolarov to work the opening for the pass, and then that left boot of his is always his preferred choice for a pass, and he swung it over with the outside. That's unfortunate, trying to put Gigo through the middle from Nainggolan.
It was a lovely little 1-2 as well. Nainggolan then trying to play Edin Dzeko in, slightly overhit.
It's given away tamely, straight to Edin Dzeko. He works the angle for the shot, and it goes out for the corner. Mistake by Musacchio.
They're just causing themselves one or two problems, Milan, just playing out from the back.
Shot taking an early deflection. And they play with the three centre-backs. AC Milan, Musacchio, Bonucci and Romagnoli. And the intention is for them to play football right from the outset, rather than go long.
And that means a lot of work in wider areas. The likes of Rodriguez and Barini. He could go up and down, couldn't he?
Well, Cafu would suit that formation, wouldn't he? He could play right wing back in that system. Makes you feel even more sorry for Fabio Barini, because that's where he's being asked to play today as the right wing back. He's a left-footed player ostensibly, and a striker down the middle is his preferred position, but there he is at right wing back today. And meanwhile, by Struthman.
Yeah, just a tad late there, Kevin Struthman. It was a foul on Barini.
Easy to ask a player who's ostensibly a striker and with an eye for goal, not just to be in support of other strikers, but to actually play a right wing-back role. It's a gamble, really. But I suppose you'd rather be in the starting 11 than not, from a player's perspective.
Yeah, that's why sometimes you've got to ignore the stats when you look at some players, because they are team players, and Fabio Barini is certainly one of those. And as we said, he's a striker playing out on the right-hand side. There's a lot of work in wider areas. Very unselfish player.
Silva closing down the space for Kolarov.
The switcher plays on for Roma. They've got to work it a little bit quicker.
Milan effectively playing a five-man midfield, and we feel that the areas out wide will be the key. That's a really poor ball, which Kolarov's not going to get anywhere near.
Well, fullbacks are key for Roma. You know, Bruno Perez and Kolarov should have so much space.
Here's Kessier. Barini. Musacchio. Romagnoli. Now Viglia. Bonucci invited forward. A bad ball, good angle on it. Manolas glances it towards going out for a corner, but to his credit, Bruno Perez prevented it.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned really Roma's number one, Alisson Nabu in goal. Hardly had a thing to do.
No. Just an observer thus far. We might have to do something there. Good effort from Kessier.
Yeah, once it tipped up on the volley, you always think it's worth taking that shot on. Kessier, not a bad effort. It's a little bit scrappy how it falls to him. Has one fresh air shot on his left side, then takes it on with his right.
He was ostensibly a protective midfielder, Frank Kessier. He did score 6 goals for Atalanta last season. He became hot property in Serie A. Atalanta had an excellent campaign that qualified them for the UEFA Europa League. And of course, as often happens in Italy, when a surprise team, and I'll call them that, does well. So often their best players are picked off by the big boys. Hence Atalanta are not quite as positive this season as they were last. Currently locked in mid-table and facing Juventus tonight.
Not sure what the referees give there, actually.
I was puzzled as well. I mean, I assumed the ball hadn't come out of the box, but it had.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Didn't see a signal from the assistant either. Well, the communication is what's caused the problem there. And Strootman, I think it is, takes a walloping from Fazio.
Yeah, there is. It's just a lack of communication. And Fazio should be in charge there. He should be barking instructions to Kevin Strootman. Nothing worse for a central midfield player when you're not sure what's behind you and one of your players just arrive in your peripheral vision.
Looked like a hefty old whack that for Strootman.
There's a big boy Fazio as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Sure, Totti would have appreciated that. So much talent in that central midfield area. Strootman, one of many gifted Belgian players plying their trade.
It's got to the point now at 26 minutes in where the game will slightly open up a little bit more, a little bit cagey in the first 20 minutes.
Everyone who watches games like this knows of the significance of the opening goal, and no one wants to be responsible for the error that leads to it. Here's Barini. Now Biglia. Look at the shape that Roma are in. Very difficult to find space and gap with such a solid looking shape. Fazio gets it away. Here's El Shaarawy. Well stopped though by Musacchio. Nice play by Barini. Musacchio once more. Barini helping him out. Here's Biglia. Shaarawy couldn't win it back. Space now for Barini. It's not a bad clip ball in, and it was well dealt with by Fazio.
A brilliant ball in from Fabio Barini. Just worked a little bit of space. Milan there. Good cross in the box. Well defended.
He's overhit that pass, however. Let's point you in the direction of some more action you can enjoy with us on BT Sport. As we see Strootman there, looks as though he's struggling. Atalanta against Juventus, I've alluded to. Juventus looking to maintain their 100% record. 1 HD from 7:30 there at Atalanta. Also on tonight, Nice against Marseille from 7:45 on 2 HD. When we return after the international break, look at that for a fixture. Roma's next duel is with the 100% leaders Napoli. Saturday the 14th of October, 7:30 on 3 HD. And the following day, well, take your pick. Inter against AC. A couple of huge games in a couple of weeks' time. Saturday the 15th of October and Sunday the 14th. Roma against Napoli, Inter against AC Milan, the best games from across Europe as ever on BT Sport.
I went to the San Siro 10-15 years ago just as a fan, and I watched AC Milan Inter Champions League semi-final. What an atmosphere and a great game.
A bit of a deflection on that cross, and it'll be a corner to Roma. And there's no such thing as a dull Milan derby.
And as you said, Napoli-Roma, that's a fixture as well. I think Napoli are going to go very close this season.
The only defeat this season was away at Shakhtar Donetsk. That was the signal from Strootman that he can take no further part today. That's a big blow, you know. Huge part of that trio of midfielders. On his stead will be Lorenzo Pellegrini, who a lot less experienced. Another new signing, inevitably. This time for Roma. He joined from Sassuolo. Eusebio Di Francesco's former club. Strootman making way, and the signal came from the player himself.
Yeah, he must have took a bad collision with Fazio, didn't he? Must have been on the side of the neck, shoulder. It certainly shook him up.
A quarter of an hour to the interval, still 0-0. No real clear-cut chances so far. Here's Milan, maybe he can fashion one here. Florenzi up towards Gigo, but well dealt with by Barini.
It's an even game so far. I don't think anyone's dominated the game so far. I think Montella will be looking for a little bit more from the home side.
Both sides have found the net in the last 4 meetings at the Siro. There's usually a promise of goals when these two lock horns, but clear-cut opening so far. Fouled by Bilia and Florenzi.
Yeah, the thing is as well, when you look at all the attacking players on show, there's some fantastic defenders there. Manolas and Fazio and Romagnoli and Bonucci and Sacchio. In that three, they're very hard. Great chances against this Milan side. And Roma have always got that screen at De Rossi, just helping Manolas and Fazio.
Rossi will deliver the free kick. It will not clear Bilia. Follow off, all the way back to Alisson. Hasn't touched the ball with his gloves, I don't think, so far.
Got to keep working it wide, Roma. As I said before, fullbacks are the outlet.
Chico helps it on its way towards he hoped Pellegrini would get to the ball. By Nainggolan.
I actually thought it was a good tackle in real time. But Pellegrini got a little bit of the ball and was wrong. Good decision from the referee. Got a piece of Barini's ankle.
Here's Rodriguez. Took it down well, followed by Florenzi. Tried to get the shot away, but the more it was trying to work to his right side by Çalhanoğlu, the more he felt he wasn't going to get anything telling on the shot.
Yeah, he should have took the shot on just there. Once he goes past 2 or 3 players, there's always bodies putting themselves on the line for Roma, and he's working a harder angle.
A couple of years back, Hakan Çalhanoğlu seemed to be unstoppable. Just an imaginative, creative midfielder at Bayer Leverkusen's side, who were regulars in the UEFA Champions League, but he's just lost his way a little bit, as indeed did Bayer Leverkusen. He needed a new challenge, I think. And just on cue, he becomes the first player booked this afternoon.
Yeah, I think rightly so from the referee. I'm not a massive believer that every foul has to be a card. But you're coming in from behind, quite aggressive. It's always equaling a card.
He's a lovely player, Çalhanoğlu, when he's on form, but
you looked at me from across the room. Those eyes kept following me. Something popped in my brain. Now, baby, only you I see. Feels like I'm going insane, and only you can save me. Feels like I'm drowning in ocean's blue. Baby, come on, baby, come on, let's go. I'm losing control over lights in the space. Keep jumping around, all I see is your face. But you're moving closer, no time to escape. Your hand on my shoulder shifts me into space, and I can't deny how badly I need you now. 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 You take away my breath now, boy. Don't you dare steal my heart now, boy. I know you're something that I'll enjoy. Move a little bit closer now, to some place where there ain't no crowds. I wanna get to know you right here and now. I got trapped in your touch the moment you took my hand. Led me all the way to the ocean sand. You told me don't worry as the moonlight gled. I pulled you in close, whispered I'm not scared. I'm losing control, the lights in the space. Keep jumping around, all I see is your face. But you're moving closer, no time to escape. Your hand on my shoulder shifts me into space, and I can't deny how badly I need you now. I need you now. I need you now. I need you now. I need you now.
Thought walking there, and on the other side, Jojic.
pass, an eye for a spectacular goal as well.
There's the heartbeat of it at that Roma midfield. He's one of those players who makes those late runs and suddenly finds himself in a goal-scoring position.
Last year he was playing sometimes as a 10 as well, just off Edin Dzeko.
Oh, that's excellent play from Kalinic. Forced to check. That's an optimistic claim of a handball, which is just never coming. And there is Nainggolan. Tried to thread it through, I think, for Edin Dzeko, but it breaks for El Shaarawy. Before AC Milan have regrouped very, very swiftly. Rossi trying to angle it forward, away by Bonucci. Here's Kessié.
They're a strong unit back there, Milan. Three centre-halves, Rodriguez and Borini tucking in to make the 5. There's not many gaps.
Again, it was optimistic from Çalhanoğlu. There's the likes of Ricardo Montolivo and Suso on the bench, who have both seen lots of game time this season. And striker Patrick Petroni as well, who I mentioned scored the late winner against Rijeka.
I think Di Francesco will be the happier of the two managers going into half-time. Vincenzo Montella will need a little bit more in the second half from his players, a little bit more creativity. Defended well.
Bonucci guiding it forward. Çalhanoğlu. Now Rodriguez. Finished by Bruno Perez. He hasn't isolated him much at all today. Here's Biglia. Romagnoli. Çalhanoğlu. Biglia. Bonucci. Musacchio. 2 minutes of added time, we're just entering. Here's Andre Silva. Not about hitting it. Now Borini. On towards Andre Silva, but cleared well by Pellegrini for the corner.
He's always desperate, Fabio Borini, just to get the ball back on his strong right foot, trying to get to that byline, trying to pick a pass. Milan have looked dangerous when they've been down the left-hand side, but Rodriguez hasn't put too many crosses in. Borini's put 1 or 2 in.
In a game where there has rarely been a genuine opening, can Milan take one just before half-time? They can't, because Edin Dzeko gets it away.
Good header from Dzeko, being that front screen, that was his job. Not marking anyone, but he is the guy at the front post if any corners are coming in flat.
Sakio, Kessié. Well, Biglia by Romagnoli, and then by Kessié. To be.
Yeah, it's worth taking the shot on, even though it was a blind shot from Kessié. There's so many Roma bodies back there, and there was Milan bodies that were in and around him as well, and once it falls to, it was good build-up play. And it falls to Kessié on that right side, getting blocked a couple of shots, and all of a sudden it's really narrow, you're not sure where your bearing's on, you just take a swipe at that, hoping it'll find one of the top corners.
Just before that corner was taken, we got a quick glimpse of Andrea Conti, one of the injured players for Milan, but like us, he's watched what has been 2 heavyweights cancelling each other out.
Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers. Standing in this shade. Going louder, we are all one color. Standing in the way.
In the direction of a real tussle that's taking place this Friday. England under 21s against Scotland under 20. And indeed the last round of international fixtures in qualification for the FIFA World Cup next summer in Russia. Italy seemingly going to finish second in their group, and they'll need a playoff to qualify for Russia. We'll shelve the international talk for one of the great domestic tussles of any Serie A season. AC Milan against Roma. Milan, who had to go back to 2010-11 for the last time they won a league title. Sixth last season. They've won 18 in all, of course. And 7 European Cups to boot. And they're up against a Roma side who have only won 3, I say only. The most recent back in 2001. But both are expecting to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season, which means a top 3/top 4 finish. And both these sides will also be anticipated. Just nudged in front of Germany in the UEFA coefficient, which is a big thing really. You get qualification off the back of where you're internationally set within those coefficient tables. Only in the first day of October. Next May is a long, long way away. Already in sacking season, and if AC Milan should lose this one, you just watch those stories starting to emanate across the Italian newspapers about Vincenzo Montella's position. So 0-0 here at the San Siro, or the Giuseppe Meazza, whichever you prefer, alongside the case of they've basically just cancelled each other out so far.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a good football match. It's been a chess match. Defenders have come out on top. I think you look at that tackle there from... I think the incentive's there for both sides, for Milan to try and get the 3 points to go above Roma, and obviously Roma, they take 3 points, they go very close to their arch rivals Lazio.
Effectively have a game in hand, because their match at Sampdoria last month was postponed after an absolute deluge. So they have played less games than every other team, of course, except Samp. They will have done by the end of the weekend. Something found its way through from Çalhanoğlu. Kessié just muscled out of it. Play by Fazio.
Well, it was Bonucci that hit the floor from the free kick from Milan. There wasn't too many appeals.
Not even from the fans, really. Fouled by Kessié. Well, let's have a look at this. Is there a foul in here?
No, there's not. It's collar off. That just got touched tight to Bonucci. There's no foul in there.
Bonucci quickly back into position to stop Dzeko's progress. Barini couldn't keep it in play. Looking exceptionally hard, Fabio Barini. Trying to stop collar off.
It's been a tough assignment as well for Edin Dzeko, isn't it, against Milan's 3
far too obvious, right in front of the referee. Promising position for this free kick, and they've taken it quickly. Kolarov will deliver. Not particularly effectively though, and cleared easily by Bilia.
Yeah, well, I imagine at some point the game has to open up. Totally get that both sides don't want to lose the game, but certainly you've got to take a few chances if you want to go and win it. It's not going to happen, it's not going to fall in your lap.
Here's El Shaarawy. No question of a foul there. Rodriguez. Çalhanoğlu. Romagnoli. And now Bonucci.
Bit more pressure coming from Roma out of possession early on in the second half.
Nor there. Second one probably more of a claim, but neither going to be a penalty. Certainly given away meanwhile. Andre Silva. Couple of massive games in a row for AC Milan. Roma today, and then Inter, in inverted commas, away from home. Straight after the international break, and they're already with 2 defeats from their opening 6 matches.
A little glimpse, if you've not seen Nangolan play before, anyone watching at home, what a superb diagonal pass that was to Florenzi.
In a second, he was trying to take the ball off Çalhanoğlu when the move broke down. Here is Çalhanoğlu.
I think he's the type of player, Nangolan, you've got to try and free him up and let him play further forward. He's so creative when he's on the ball, always looking to pick a pass, and these sort of areas, it's just too condensed for him.
And there though by Bilia. Here's Borini. Almost won by Kalinic, kind of rolled off his shoulder in the end. Here's Rodriguez. This time by Bilia, cleared by Fazio, helped on further by Pellegrini. Won by Manolas. Bilia. Çalhanoğlu. I think he was trying to work a 1-2. De Rossi made sure that he couldn't. Away by Nangolan up towards Gigo. And tries to draw the foul from Bonucci. Doesn't get it. He's going to get a yellow card for his protest, and he needs to calm down, or he might get 2 in a row here.
Well, he's fuming at the referee, Gigo, because he felt as though it was a foul from Bonucci. It was just a good battle, and he has to be careful. He's got to calm down. I think it's more frustration than anything else from Gigo. And he goes ballistic at the referee.
He was quickly told to calm down by De Rossi, because booking number 1 was for dissent. And he didn't stop there, did he?
I think it's more of a sign of frustration that he's got no change of Bonucci and the other 2 centre-halves all afternoon.
Absolutely right. It's livened up the crowd a little bit. Such a huge stadium, it's never easy to estimate how many fans are in here, but there aren't too many gaps.
Slightly biased, I was a Milan fan as a kid. Some iconic players as Van Basten, Hullet, Rijkaard, Baresi.
Gigo's rolling around, the referee's completely unmoved. Yeah, Bonucci in trouble here.
Well, there's nothing in that whatsoever. He certainly hasn't been caught Just took one on the...
I think as Bonucci kind of moves towards him, he just catches him completely accidental.
I think what Edin Dzeko is trying to do is just trying to let the referee know that there's a battle going on between the front man and Bonucci. And every now and again he's just trying to say, look, I deserve a free kick myself.
He scored 2 goals against Milan last season, back in May, when Roma won 4-1 here, but he wasn't up against Bonucci.
It's one of them where you start getting a little bit paranoid. That's a good tackle from Nangolan.
Here comes Dzeko. Can it fire him up in the right way? Pass though, Kessié.
It's becoming a better watch now, isn't it? Tempo's just gone up a yard. Yeah, it's like that Edin Dzeko moment has got the whole crowd on.
Getting in the way before it can trouble anybody. Chanalolu tries to control it, but he's made a real hash of it.
Yeah, he apologises there, Chanalolu. It's not a hard skill just to take a touch and clip a little ball into the box.
To the last 10 home games, all in decent form in front of their own supporters. Problem is they've lost 2 of their 3 away games this season. Keep relying on performances at home if you're going to make an assault on the title and at the very least get yourself into the UEFA Champions League. Roma have a corner Roma have a corner which Pellegrini tried to swing to the near. Foul on.
Nangolan's now just having a word with the referee.
Milan next face Inter in the derby. Roma next face Napoli in Rome. And then they've got the small matter of Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League. Big games to negotiate after the international break. As Rodriguez tries to guide it in towards Kessié. Here's Nangolan holding off Biglia. Now Bruno Perez up towards Florenzi. The managers will be toying with the idea of making an alteration, you feel, as we get towards the hour mark. Montella right to the edge of his technical area. Is that a foul on Pellegrini?
Yeah, it was a foul. Slightly late on Magnoli.
He's given it. Many options available on the bench. Suso has started 5 of the 6 matches in Serie A so far this season. Didn't look as though he was the likeliest to come on there, though. Here's Bruno Perez. And again. Manolas. Fazio. Kolarov. No, he won't get to that because Barini will. 3 on 3 if they can move this swiftly enough. Barini still going. And still, little exchange of feet. It was a great idea. But the left foot, the touch was too heavy. It's not over yet though. Rodriguez! Well, at the far post, Andre Silva tried to get to it. Never looked like he was going to.
Rodriguez should do a lot more of this. Get the ball on your left side and whip some balls in behind that back line of Roma. He always seems to cut inside on his weaker right foot, and that's a terrific ball. And Andre Silva's a whisker away from getting on the end of that.
Both sides sensing they might be nearing the opening goal. Mistakes starting to creep into the play. And rigidity and solidity that were so prevalent for both sides in the first half has started to dissipate, and from a neutral perspective the game needed it to do.
I wonder at what point does either manager think about making a change and just keep an eye on Nangolan's position, and I wonder if Di Francesco might bring someone in that midfield to try and free him up a little bit. It's been a standout play for Roma so far. All of his work is 40-50 yards away from goal.
Players he might have turned to are on the injured list at the moment. Diego Perotti and Defrel as the ball comes in from Kessié. It's far too firmly hit. Kalinic not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah, that one's not a good ball. Far too much pace on that from Kessié. You've got to take a little bit off this. You've got to give your centre forward a chance. People might look at that around the world thinking, well, it's a good ball, centre forward should be in there, but if he's not, you can't just put it across the 6-yard box.
Nangolan, who's less than impressed with it. Reasonable challenge actually from Musacchio.
Yeah, it was quite aggressive, wasn't it? Nangolan's no shrinking violet, is he?
Absolutely. In the 3 home games so far, but the opposition was Spal, Udinese and Cagliari. Different proposition when Roma are in town. Indeed, Roma were the last team to win here. Roma have won both away games and they might win this one. Oh, Florenzi! What a chance! He knows it. The Milan back 3 went missing. And suddenly Florenzi was through on goal. But Donnarumma is a big goalkeeper.
A brilliant ball. One of the best balls of the afternoon. You credit the goalkeeper for making the save, but actually it's a really poor miss. There's not great contact on that from Florenzi. He's got an option. Do I finish first time? Do I try and round the goalkeeper? In the end, he's done neither.
Well, that was the moment, wasn't it? 17th minute of the second half, and the clearest sight of goal for either team. And Florenzi couldn't get it beyond Donnarumma. Here's Çalhanoğlu. Bonucci, and again! Good save by Alisson.
Great save, and it's the first time we mentioned his name. What a super stop that was from Bonucci.
There's a real buzz. One end of the field, the best chance of the match for Roma. The other end of the field, well, that's a yellow card for Biglia for the challenge on Florenzi. He's taken one for the team. But the best 2 chances of the match within, 60 seconds of each other.
Game just starting to open out. It's a fantastic ball. I believe it was from El Shaarawy. Couldn't see in real time. But that was a massive opportunity for Roma. And for Florenzi, it wasn't a confident finish. And then Bonucci with a strike inside the 6-yard box. It just fell to him. Instead, he takes it on the snapshot, and a terrific point-blank save from Alisson.
A goalkeeper who hasn't had to extend himself at all today until then.
Florenzi's was the big chance. That's the one you want, bearing down on your goalkeeper, 1v1. Didn't have to take a touch. The weight of the pass was excellent. Put it right in his path.
Well, there's around about half an hour to go. And it is a different game now to the cagey affair we were watching in the first half. Here's Bruno Perez looking for a runner. Florenzi offers himself.
I think the beauty of it, Alistair, we've got no idea which way it's going to go. It's such a good game.
Well, Roma come into this match having won their last 9 away games in a row. They haven't lost in Serie A away from home since January. And astonishingly, they've scored 29 goals in those 9 matches. But this has been a very different game. And Andre Silva now trying to find a way through that Roma defence. Still going, brilliant from him. Couldn't quite fashion the cross, having left Bruno Perez on the deck.
He twisted him inside out, didn't he, Andre Silva? He sat Bruno Perez on the floor with a couple of little chops. It was fantastic work, and he just couldn't find a teammate in the box. Good work from Milan's number 9.
Here's Çalhanoğlu. It's a good ball, headed away by Fazio, helped clear by Kolarov. Nainggolan trying to get there for Roma.
It's not really a route I see Milan scoring, trying to whip balls in the box, because Roma's 2 centre-halves, Manolas and Fazio, are gobbling every single ball that comes into that box up. And they must be 6'4", 6'5", very strong and aggressive in the air.
And the crowd have certainly responded to this lively second half. The skies have darkened over the San Siro. Here's Andre Silva. Well, the track back was clever. Bruno Perez got it away though. De Rossi helps it further. Foul by Kessié on Nainggolan. He wants a yellow card. If he's not careful, he's going to be the one that cops it.
Yeah, just a routine foul, isn't it, from Kessié on Nainggolan. 2 combative midfield players. This is Bonucci's strike. You can see how the goalkeeper spots that very, very late.
Good save.
I get the feeling we're going to get 1 or 2 more chances.
Here's Bruno Perez. El Shaarawy can't control it. There's plenty more for you to enjoy with us on BT Sport tonight. Serie A action continues. Atalanta Juventus, 7:31 HD. French League action as well. Nice against Marseille, 7:45 on 2 HD. And then when we return after the international break, Roma against Napoli. Saturday the 14th of October, 7:30, 3 HD. Put it in your diary. And while you've got your diary out, the following day, it's the first Milan derby of the season, Inter AC, 15th of October, 7:30 on 1 HD. Nainggolan too close to the goalkeeper. The communication a little bit suspect, not for the first time today. Nearly a fatal collision between Donnarumma and Romagnoli. Benevento, they won at Atalanta, they won at Qarabag Roma. They won 11 of the last 12 on their travels in Serie A. Plenty of good home form for AC Milan, plenty of good away form for the visitors. That's the reason that we're locked at 0-0. Final quarter of the match. Here's Rodriguez, who's starting to get a lot more of the ball in the attacking area of the field. Çalhanoğlu. Kalinic! Almost.
If he drags that shot a little bit more, Kalinic, he probably scores. There's a battle between himself and Manolas. And the centre forward came out on top in terms of getting your shot away. You can see the Roma players don't want to put any tackles in, give anything away. I think there's a little follow through, accidental, probably just there, and he probably wraps Manolas' shins there. Kalinic, half chance.
Eusebio Di Francesco concerned. Vincenzo Montella pacing up and down his technical area. So finely balanced, it's just the most fascinating duel, this one. And now the chances are starting to come, and Alisson's starting to have to make saves, much to his frustration. And theirs.
Quite painful then once, and Kalinic took that shot on him, probably got his shin caught just on Manolas' shin. Surely that has to be the discussion between Di Francesco and Nangolan. What can we do going forward? Can we do a little bit more? Do we protect what we've got? Do we go for all 3 points?
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back.
Champions League on Wednesday. Took it well as well.
Just gets the feeling that was Edin Dzeko bearing down on goal and not Florenzi. Dzeko would probably have scored.
Here's Pellegrini. Dzeko. Good hit! Great goal! Dzeko. His first chance, if you call it that, and he's blasted it beyond Donnarumma and into the back of the Milan goal. And in the 72nd minute, this titanic tussle is going the way of Francesco Totti's beloved Roma. And Edin Dzeko, the man in form, has himself another.
Well, 7 and 6, and we called it. He was very quiet this afternoon, Dzeko. For the first time, he gets half a yard. It takes a slight deflection on the way through. And the goalkeeper's beaten to his left-hand side. Big strike for Roma, and a huge goal. You can see.
Musacchio that helps it even further away from the reach of Donnarumma. but it was so well intended by Edin Dzeko. And this wonderful scoring form that he has been in since he became a Roma player permanently from Manchester City continues once again. His 7th goal of the league season, one in the UEFA Champions League as well. And we're only into the 6th game of this Serie A season, or at least the 6th for Roma. Well, now there's going to be some questions asked of Roma. Can they manage this game? But more to the point, there's going to be some questions asked of Milan and Vincenzo Montella. Can they find a way back in? Here's Çalhanoğlu. Now Biglia. Kessié.
That's good play from Roma, passing away out of trouble.
Be thinking about an alteration, surely. Vincenzo Montella. To be fair, they've probably had their best chances in the last 10 minutes, but couldn't find a way past Alisson. Here's Rodriguez, and now Kalinic, and now Andre Silva, who goes for it himself and hits the post behind the goal.
I think he's looking at the way Edin Dzeko bent that into the bottom corner. Andre Silva, it's worth taking this shot on. You could see his intentions, trying to find that top right-hand corner as we look. Oh dear me, it's not far away.
That's a tell by Alisson's desperate dive. Was that a signal from Kalinic that he needs to come off? Dzeko's got to be careful. He's already been booked, by the way.
Oh, surely it's a Roma throw-in.
He was right. It definitely was a Roma ball. "15 minutes to go, and Roma on the verge of a massive result as they go in pursuit of the two 100%ers, Napoli and Juve. But equally, the ramifications for AC Milan, you can't underestimate those either, should they succumb to their first home defeat of the season. And with the Milan derby next up as well, it doesn't get any easier for Vincenzo Montella.
Well, Sherrari buys the foul really well from Fabio Guarini, just waiting for the contact, just to relieve a little bit of pressure, take his side further up the pitch. Roma need all their experience now to keep hold of the ball and see this game out. 15 big minutes to go for them.
Good touch. Here's Nainggolan. Saved by Donnarumma and turned in by Florenzi. And surely there's no way back for Milan. And Roma, the away day specialists, are at it again.
It's obvious to see the more you watch Nainggolan play, he has to be freed up and play further forward, because every time he does, he gets shots at target, he scores spectacular goals. And he got one away there. Donnarumma palmed it into Florenzi's path. It was never missing on the volley from 6 or 7 yards out. That's a massive relief for Roma, getting the second away from home. And Milan, it was good work from Edin Dzeko. For the first time this afternoon, Nainggolan gets away from his marker, and that's quite an easy finish in the end for Florenzi.
And it's a big goal for him as well as an individual. Out for pretty much an entire year, Alessandro Florenzi. And he gets his first goal since recovering from that injury. His first goal since April 2016, when he scored in the Rome derby. Well, that was a big goal then. This is a big goal now. And surely the points are Roma's.
Pressure now on Montella. I would have thought he has to make a substitution very early to try and get something out of this game as quick as he can.
Well, the response from Eusebio Di Francesco is to take off El Shaarawy, who, to be fair, was complaining with cramp about 3 or 4 minutes earlier. Gerson comes on. who can play in that attacking midfield position. I wondered whether they might have a more defensive look to them. But I guess with Milan desperate to try and take chances, they might get picked off as Florenzi tries to do so. And his shot is just brushing the outside of the net.
Well, all of a sudden Edin Dzeko's having a huge bearing on this game. That was great work from the centre forward, who kept hold of the ball, retained possession and found his man, and that's worth taking the shot on the angle. Might just fly into the top corner.
Now the young striker Cutrone is coming on. The gesture earlier from Kalinic was that I have to come off, so I'm sure he would ideally have liked to have kept him out there, Vincenzo Montella, but at least in Patrick Cutrone he has a goal scorer. He scored 3 goals in the UEFA Europa League, 2 already in Serie A, his first goals in the competition. And the Italian under-19 international striker now is entrusted with the responsibility of trying to get Milan back into a game that he's starting to see beyond them. Touch there was a good one from Çalhanoğlu. Cutrone got to it. Great from Nangolan. It's a free kick, it's a foul on him, it's the only way to stop him sometimes. And the yellow card is inevitable, and the red that follows it. Well, it was already looking desperate, but Çalhanoğlu, who was booked in the first half, now gets a second one. And any thoughts that Milan had that they might be able to get back into this game have completely evaporated. I don't think there was much of an argument with his yellow card in the first half. I don't think there's anything to argue about there. And Francesco Totti, well, he may be impassive, but he will know that his beloved Roma have 3 points.
Yeah, there was a silly decision in the end from Çalhanoğlu, just going to ground on Nangolan. You have to say, probably in the last 25 minutes, Roma have been excellent. They took the game to Milan, to press them really well. Milan's created 1 or 2 chances themselves. Bonucci had a good opportunity, but in terms of the team opening another team up, it's been all Roma. Florenzi had a 1v1 with Donnarumma and fluffed his lines, and all of a sudden from then they've been very aggressive, Roma, going forward. There hasn't been a lot in the game.
Well, there hasn't. But, maybe you say about how close it was. Gigo, oh, he's trodden the ball. Dzeko's influence has grown, Nangolan's influence has grown, and it's no coincidence that Roma have opened up a 2-goal lead.
These 2 players have got to play closer together. Roma are such a better side when Nangolan's closer to Gigo. There's a relationship between Nangolan and the front man for Roma. He makes his runs at Gigo because he knows Nangolan's got the quality to find him. And that little diagonal run just in behind the back 3, even though he couldn't take it in his stride, it's so evident when you watch these 2 players play. You can see Nangolan's now just playing further forward, just operating in that 10 position. So Rossi won't move, he'll sit and protect, he'll stand still in that centre circle.
The Gazzetta dello Sport was full of pictures of a worried-looking Vincenzo Montella ahead of this match.
Oh, nearly.
The headlines are already being written about him, I think, don't you?
Nearly there from Nangolan. Just played an eyes past to Edin Dzeko, who just switched off. Just feinting to shoot there from distance, Nangolan.
Roma heading for 10 successive away victories in Serie A. That's stunning. The side who finished second last season with their highest ever points in Serie A history. They were 4 points behind Juventus in the end, but you could tell that they were a side who would certainly be pushing Juve this season. 90 goals they scored last campaign, with the likes of Edin Dzeko and Nainggolan pivotal in their goal scoring. And Bonaventura is going to come on for the last few minutes. And Barini's worked like a Trojan today. There can be no critics of him today. Bonaventura. Well, it's a desperate situation for Milan now.
Big 3 points for Roma though. Takes them 1 point behind Lazio and 6 behind Napoli.
With the game in hand, of course, if they can win it against Samp. Of course, that huge game against Napoli beckoning in a couple of weeks' time. A game you can see exclusively live here on BT Sport.
And 4 wins on the spin as well in the league for Roma. Great return after losing against Inter.
Chelsea are going to find Roma tough opponents when they meet them in the back-to-back home and away games in the UEFA Champions League. The two sides who are unbeaten in their group, and Roma have exhibited all the qualities that mark them out as a very good side in this fiercely competitive match with Milan. Remember, before they went down to 10 men, Roma were already 2 clear of AC Milan.
Yeah, some lazy journalism in England thought that Roma would struggle in their Champions League group. They thought it was going to be a foregone conclusion, but not if you've watched Roma over the years. They've been excellent.
All 3 Italian sides at the top. Napoli, Juventus and Roma, or rather the 3 who finished top 3 last season, have got genuine ideas of going the distance in the UEFA Champions League. Juventus, of course, have been unluckily drawn against Barca of all teams, but you still think they'll negotiate their way through the group, and then you wouldn't want to meet them as a group winner in the draw in December.
That's as strong Champions League as ever, isn't it? Some top-class teams in it.
Manolas took a blow before, didn't he? And he is precautionary, I'm sure, being given a rest. Juan Jesus, an obvious replacement. Well, as we reach the last 5 minutes of this game, you have to say, Don, that this second half performance from Roma has been
quite well in spells, but as the second half's grown, I think we saw a couple of players in particular, Edin Dzeko and Nainggolan, have been excellent. Ball defend really deep, they hit them on the counter-attack, and Florenzi got his goal.
For Milan, 3 defeats now in their last 5 matches. Not acceptable for owners who've invested €230 million. And Napoli, of course, Juve play tonight at Atalanta, who may try and change that statistic, but the bigger the gap gets, it's very rare that those sides actually, or certainly Juve and Napoli, don't look like they're going to give up too many points this season, and the way Inter have started under Spalletti, they don't look like they're going to give up too many points. It's already going to be a catch-up that they're not going to save at AC Milan.
I think the beauty of this Roma side as well, they're so good at the back, they don't give too many goals away. I think they've only conceded 2 goals in Serie A this season. They're so strong, they've got lots of experience back there in Bruno Perez, Manolas, Fazio and Kolarov. They can grind any sort of result if needed.
And there's Kolarov, who always adds his Waits down that left-hand side, up and down the park as he does.
Even someone like Daniele De Rossi at 34, he hasn't had an outstanding game today, but he's crucial to how Roma play.
And Alisson, remember, made a couple of important stops. Let us not forget that. The one from Bonucci in particular. You must have seen that one late. It seemed pivotal at the time, and then so it proved. It was 0-0 at that point. They've been battling. The effort's always been there from AC Milan. You can't fault them for that. Silly sending off really from Çalhanoğlu, but to be fair, the game was already up by then, you felt anyway. They don't look like a side who don't believe in their manager, that's for sure. It's a cruel old game, football, and the problem you have as a manager when new owners come in is that you haven't been appointed by them initially. That's number one. Then when those new owners dip in deep into their pockets and bring you in some of the best players from across Europe, that just doubles the scrutiny upon poor old Vincenzo Montella. And Eusebio Di Francesco has come in to take over from the legendary Luciano Spalletti, and he had a tough job on his hands, but he's reacted well to his first challenge when they lost at home to Inter, with victories in each of the next 4 games.
I think the difference is between the two sides. Both sides are quite strong at the back. I mean, I know it's a contradiction today when Milan have lost a couple of goals, but midfield's been key. You think of Bilia and Kessié and Çalhanoğlu, nowhere near in the likes of Mangalan, De Rossi and Strootman's league. But that's where the game's been won and lost.
Remember, Strootman went off after half an hour. That's a big blow to Roma's plans with that concussion, looked like anyway.
Pellegrini's done well since he's come off the bench, hasn't he?
Yes.
Performed really well.
3 minutes of added time before Roma can enjoy what has been a magnificent display. And 3 minutes before the Italian scribes can start to write their headlines about potential successors, and believe me, I'm not coming up with these stories. They're already prevalent in Italy. Carlo Ancelotti removed from his position at Bayern Munich, a man with a deep, deep history at the San Siro and with AC Milan. And the timing of this defeat and the timing of his surprise removal from Bayern Munich. Well, the Milan derby looms in 2 weeks' time. We shall see who's in charge of AC Milan in a fortnight's time. Of Roma supporters who've taken the fast train from the Italian capital, and they're the ones who are shouting ole with each touch that their team has of the ball. Those who've come just a trip down the road have been vacating long since, really since Çalhanoğlu got his red card.